When you go to register a brand new domain name, do you ever wonder whether or not you should choose the private registration and pay that extra fee or not? Today, I'm going to cover the pros and cons on whether to choose private domain name registration and pay that extra fee or not. Hi, I'm Friesen, web specialist, digital marketing consultant, and social media advisor here at eVision Media, bringing you these e-tips so you don't have to struggle through the complicated landscape of the marketing world that we live in. So if you are a small business owner, stick around and keep watching so that you can learn what you need to know in order to help grow your business. To make your domain name registration private or not, that is the question. First of all, it's important to understand why it is an option even to begin with. All of our domain names are governed by ICANN, I-C-A-N-N, and they are the governing body of all domain name registrations, and they require that your contact information is associated with the domain name that you are registering. And then they publish all of those domain names that are registered in the Whois database. And that Whois database is accessible by the public. Therefore, your contact information that is associated with your domain name is in that public database that anybody can access. Now, if you have a Canadian domain name with the .ca at the end of it, CIRA, C-I-R-A, is our governing body for the .ca domain names, and they automatically register your domain name as being private. So for any .ca domains, you do not need to worry about whether to add on the privacy, because that is already done for you. The pros of having a private domain name registration is just that. It's kept private. Your name will not be listed in that Whois directory. Therefore, the public cannot see who actually has registered and claimed that domain name. And this is particularly important if you work from home, where you don't necessarily want the public to know what your home address is or your home phone number or your private email address. And as a result of the public not seeing what your private information is, you will actually get less spam and unsolicited emails and telemarketers. I find this happens to me a lot when I don't use the privacy option. I immediately get a ton of spam emails, often selling me on SEO or web development services. The other benefit to having your domain name as being a private registration is that you can pick and choose what information does get displayed, so you have control over what information you want to have displayed in that Whois database. And if this is a concern for you, your competitors won't know who owns that domain name either. Now, there are a few cons to having your domain name registered privately, and the first one is that you actually don't own that domain name. If it's not showing up in the Whois directory as your personal name or your business name, being the claimant of that domain name, then ICANN will actually not deem you as the claimant of that domain name. The owner of the domain name will actually show up as being the registrar that you used when you went to register your domain name. If there are ever any legal issues involved with your domain name, you don't have any legal standpoint. It would be all with your domain registrar. Now, keep in mind that your domain registrar is in the business to elicit trust so that you keep going back and registering more domain names with them. So the odds of your domain name registrar seizing control of your domain and you losing the rights to it are pretty slim, but it is worth knowing that that is a possibility. And of course, the other drawback is that you have to pay a yearly fee in order to keep and maintain your domain name as being private. One option to consider to avoid paying those yearly registration fees is to set up a P.O. box that can be used as your address in the contact information that would appear in the Whois database. You can also set up a secondary email address. That's where all the spam would end up going, but you do need to check it every once in a while to make sure that any emails that are pertaining to that domain name are being taken care of. But at the end of the day, if privacy is a concern for you, you, if you are worried that somebody is going to see your contact information that is available to the public, then go ahead and spend that extra little bit every year to ensure that your information is kept private in that WHOIS database. That's it for today's Z-Tip, and if you like watching these Z-Tips, please do me a favor and go ahead and click the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. Click the like button, share this video to other people who you know would benefit from this knowledge. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.